Mentally math!
Let's get mental!
Alright, why don't you get started on that? And keep this guy handy.
Who are we doing tests at?
There's a test tomorrow.
Oh, for all
So
of us?
I'm not talking about that right now. I'm talking about this lesson right now. Okay, so I'll give you a moment to get out ahead of me. So you should already be well started into this. Yes?
Can I say something?
Is it having to do exactly with what we're doing and help move us forward? Yeah?
Estimation, people.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay.
You got me.
There's estimation in every day of mental math.
No. It's fine. Except for you, I gave the exact answer and the estimated answer.
Okay. All right. So I'll give people a little bit more time to get out ahead of me. Okay.
Oh, I got you.
Okay, so we could think of this as 200 plus 40. So we think that's $240.
For anything times 5, I just do it times 10 divided by 2.
Okay, cool. That totally works. That absolutely works. Yeah. Then doing making one of them half as much, so making the 48 24 and making the 5 into a 10, and then just multiplying it by 10. Then 10 squared is 100, which is 2 boinkies to the right. Boinky. So that would be 1 and 25 hundredths. Yes, but we're working in decimals. So 1 and 25 hundredths is the only correct answer for this. Equivalent fractions, well, this is 1/5 of that. So 4 divided by 5 is, so y equals 8. Then 220, square root of 225. Yeah, it's pretty much it's a good one to memorize. 15. Yeah. This one is just 5 times 2. It's 10.
Let's go. Sorry.
Then I slowing us down isn't helpful right now. Okay, then 1/5 of 40 is 8, so 2 of those would be 16. Now, getting the median here is kind of funny because it actually doesn't really matter. They sort of have it in reverse order, almost, sort of. So it's really these two guys in the middle that matter. And now you could add them together and divide by 2, but this one just has a digit in between.
Yeah.
So 46. Okay, then H, start with half a dozen. Yeah, we don't really have time to do a lot of discussion about the mental math, guys, so I'm kind of trying to push us along here. Start with half a dozen plus 4. Square that number divided by 2.
Wait, square by number means multiply by the same number?
By itself, yes. That's what squaring means. Multiply by itself. Plus 6 divided by 8. Basically, it means it has an exponent of 2. Is squaring anything. Like up here, this is 10 squared. Times 7 plus 1 divided by 10. Now this one gets weird, right? Is minus 5. We have a negative number. Okay, so we are basically unit multipliers and unit conversion. So remember how we're doing cross-canceling goodness with units? So this is kind of taking it to the next level and showing how it's used. Is you sort of can think of it as you can use it to make unit multipliers, or kind of like your sort of little unit conversion machines in a way, if you want to think of it that way. Now, so for the first part, and this one actually segs perfectly into example 2. So we'll sort of rush through this one pretty quickly because we're going to use these multipliers for this. So now, equivalent might not be the best word for this because I definitely cannot. I cannot put the two things that I'm going to make on either side and put an equal sign between them. Not without it being utterly confusing. So I'm going to put my two possible unit multipliers here. So right now, what this is saying is a conversion of feet to yards. So that's what this lesson's all about, is converting from one unit to another similar unit. In this case, feet to yards. So if I were to do exactly what this is saying, then I would say 3 feet is equivalent to 1 yard, right? So that's how you would say that. Now, if I was converting from yards to feet, I would want to flip them. So basically, if I wanted to express this in the same way, which is a slightly different type of conversion, so 1 yard equals 3 feet, then I would say that like this, right? So this is converting feet into yards, and this is my little conversion machine to convert yards into feet. They are very similar, but of course, if I did that, you'd probably want to shoot me, right? Because that just looks really, I mean, right? So let's just forget that happened, and just say that and that. Conversion of feet to yards, conversion of yards to feet. Yeah. Okay, lovely. So using these converters, so let's convert 240 yards to feet, and then 240 feet to yards. So I'm gonna show you the first one, and then try to give you a little time to figure out the second one. So and I'm not doing this very fast. So if you already want to jump in there and do A yourself, that is totally fine with me. So in this case, I'm starting with yards. 240 yards, right? And then I'm going to multiply by my unit converter. And so I'm just going to put my /1 under here, my imaginary slash, the imaginary /1 that's really underneath every whole number, just so that my cross-cancel-y stuff is a little more clear. And the thing I'm going to want to end up with is feet, right? So you can think of the unit converter that you want to use, like which one goes on top and which one goes on bottom, depends on what you're trying to get rid of and what you're trying to end up with at the end. And what I want, if I want to have feet at the end, what am I trying to get rid of?
A yard.
I'm trying to get rid of the yard. So I'm going to put my yard converter down on the bottom so I can cross-cancel them. And I'm going to put my feet converter on the top. Okay, following? We're good? Following? Okay. Alright, so now I can do my cross-canceling goodness. I mean, I'm going to take out my yards. I have no yard. And so basically what I'm left with is the unit of feet, which I can bring over here. And then 240 times 3. You know, which 24 times 3 is...
700.
Well, 24 times 3 is 72. Whoops. Let's change my phone back. And then since I can just put a 0 at the end. And then so, ta-da! Okay. So, that being said, see if you can figure out, now if I'm trying to convert feet to yards, same sort of thing is, I'm starting out, I've got 240 feet. Yeah, I'm going to put my /1 under there. I'm going to have my converter over here. Something on the top, something on the bottom. And then I want to end up with only yards when I'm done. So I'm going to take a couple deep breaths and let you figure that one out yourself. You figure it out yourself? All right.
Accidentally, for A, I did 7.
Well, all you had to do was follow along on the first one.
I did 240 over 720.
Well, did you do that?
I got 720, but I did 240 over 720.
240 over 720.
Now I did
So,
I had,
if you ended up with that, then you probably, if you, 240 over, so if you did that, then it sounds,
I get it.
okay. Okay, so the thing I want to get rid of is, I want to have no feet, but I want to have a lot of yards. So I'm going to put my 3 feet under me, because that's where my feet belong, under me. And then put my yard on top. And so now I can do my cross-canceling goodness to say, let us eliminate all the feet, both my feet. And
You have to do it that method?
this is the Saxon method that I'm teaching right now from the Saxon book. And so yes, right now you need to do it this way. This is what we're practicing. So yes, there are many other ways to figure this out, but we are learning about unit multipliers today, and this is how to do them. So yes. I'm running out of space here. So bringing this across, so 240 times 1 yard. That'll get me 240 yards. 1 times 3 is 3. I am not done yet. So, but I have run out of space. So, so what could I convert this? Well, what's 24 divided by 3?
880.
Well, okay. What's 240 divided by 3?
80.
Okay, fine. I was just trying to scaffold my way to that. So I can just turn this into 80 yards. All right, so
Understand how you did 3 feet over 1 yard.
that is my unit converter. Right? I selected the yards on top and the feet on bottom because I want to cancel out the feet. And I can only do that if one is if I'm cross canceling. Right? So
I still don't understand.
well, it's a matter of you're learning a method. So you need to kind of work with the method of we are talking about, I mean, and this isn't going anywhere. Like as I've said, Buzz liked this a lot. Khan Academy does this. Saxon does this. So you kind of need to try to roll with it, is these are unit converters. Okay, so say, are you paying attention? So basically this is a unit converter of feet to yards, right? So it's saying, this is saying for every 3 feet, there will be 1 yard. This one is a converter from yards to feet. We are doing unit conversion, so it's a question of how many feet are in a yard, how many yards are in a feet, or how many, how many feet do I need to make a yard? And whichever one you want to use, it depends on what type of converting that you're doing. So for A, okay, we're converting yards to feet. So I'm starting out with yards. I want to end up with feet. The Saxon method of doing this is to set up a unit converter where the units can cross-cancel each other. And that can only happen if one is on the top and the other one is on the bottom, just like we do the cross-canceling with numbers. Okay, and so, yeah, there's my 80. All right, an Olympic track. This one's a bit more simple. An Olympic event in track and field. Now, by the way, this person, well, actually no, that's for example 4. Anyway, Olympic event for track and field is the 100-meter dash. 100 meters is about how many yards? And so they're saying 1 meter equals about 1 1/10 of a yard, which is 2. So in this case, it's just kind of a simple setup. So I'm going to have 100 meters on this side, right? I'm going to multiply by a unit converter. I'm going to do a couple wavy lines because it's not exactly equal to. And then I'm going to want to end up with yards when I'm done. So I'm gonna set up my imaginary /1 there, and then my unit converter, since I want to get rid of my meters, right? So 1 meter can go on the bottom, and then my unit converter. The yards. Are you okay back there? Okay. All right. So this will allow me to do my cross-canceling goodness. And so I'm going to cross out my meters. And now I'm just looking at 100 times 1 1/10 yard. Which of course is just, I just need to, if I'm times it by 100, I just need to bring my decimal over by 2. So just boinky, boinky. And so it'll end up being 110 yards.
Wait, how did you end up finding?
Because I'm multiplying by 100. I'm multiplying this by 100. That means that, I'm moving my decimal over by 2.
Oh, okay.
So 1, 2, and then that will get me 110 yards. Yes?
What's the difference between a yard and a meter?
About 10%. The difference between a yard and a meter is right up on the board there. Is for every basically a yard is a little bit longer. Or actually, by this the meter. Excuse me. The meter is a little bit longer. So 1 meter is equivalent to a little bit more than a yard.
Oh.
It's about this much more than a yard.
A tenth more.
1/10 more than, yeah. Okay, so Tim, you ever see the show The Flash?
My mom does watch it.
Yeah, well, Tim is tapped into the speed force, as you're going to find out in this problem. Per second. All right, so we want to convert the 9 yards per second that Tim can run to how many feet can he run per second? All right, so So basically, we're starting out with a rate. Okay, so this is not a unit converter. This is a rate. We are starting out with, you can go 9 yards every 1 second. That is I know it's crazy, right? That is the rate that's laid out at the beginning here.
Is he very tall?
I don't know Tim personally. He's an imaginary person created by the Saxon math dudes. All right, so this 9 yards per second. That's what this says. 9 yard. Oh, and it's on the metal thing there. 9 yards per second. That's what we're saying here. It's called a rate. And so now we're going to need to do another unit multiplier. So we are trying to convert from yards to what? To feet. Thank you. So if we're doing that, then we could say, and also, so that means I'm trying to get rid of what? So I'm going to multiply this by a unit multiplier. It's going to be back to our 1 yard is made of 3 feet, but I'm trying to convert from yards to feet. So what goes on the top and what goes on the bottom? What do you think? Which one should I put on the top? Which one should I put on the bottom? Huh? Remember, I'm trying to cross-cancel my yards.
The feet on the bottom and the second on the top?
Ooh, well, I'm trying to cross-cancel my yards. I'm trying to eliminate the yards and only end up with feet.
Oh.
So,
Oh, the feet's on the top.
yes. So, in this case, we're saying 3 feet per 1 yard. Okay, so this is my rate, 9 yards for 1 second. And my unit conversion, so that I can convert my yards to my feet, will be 3 feet to 1 yard, so that I've got my cross-canceling goodness going on there. So I can eliminate those. And so now it's 9 times 3 whoops, is 27. And my feet just carry over here to the end, and then 1 second times 1 is just 1 second. And so now we've got a new rate. This is basically saying 27 feet per second.
This guy's inhumane.
Obviously, Tim is Barry Allen in disguise.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Tim the Allen. Supersonic reincarnated.
Okay.
Oh yeah, sure. Tim was riding on the back of a cheetah.
Okay, so how are we feeling here? 1, 2, or 3? Okay. All right. I mean, it's a little tricky the first time you're looking at it. We will continue to practice it. I'll take 2s right now.